Monday, April 3rd, meeting of the City of Huntington Woods Historic District Commission. Call to order. Thank you, Hank.
Mr. Chair, at this point in time, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome some new members. First off, we'll start from the left. Commissioner Joe Roselle is our commission liaison. He's a voting member this year. Joe obviously comes to us with like a ton and a half of experience in planning and zoning, and also as a commissioner, so we appreciate his interest in being on the board. Also, Michael Wright, who's our former two-time Planning Commission chair, joins us as a member of the HDC. We appreciate his experience. And Ed Engman, who is on the far end, who has been a resident of Huntington Woods as long as I think I've known you for 40 years, but so, and we appreciate the residents taking interest in our boards and commissions, and Ed was gracious enough to serve on this one. So having said that, Mr. Chair, the meeting is yours.
Thank you. Welcome, new members. Thank you for your participation. Let's just start with our first order of business here. We've got some minutes to approve. Approval of minutes from January 4th and from February 1st, 2023. Let's start with the January 4th meeting minutes. Does anybody have any comments on the minutes?
I think.
I have a comment. So.
Go ahead.
Well, I couldn't have called the meeting to order because I wasn't there.
Okay.
I know I'm pretty neat,
Let me know
but
what you have. Is there a lot of corrections or?
no, that was all I had.
Yeah. So, yeah, Chris wasn't here. I was the one who ran the meeting then.
I'll change that.
And then there's a couple where, in the context, I think it might make sense to correct them. On page 4, in the top, where you're speaking, Hank, in the very first line, it says that's part of the Michigan. I think it's
Compiled
compiled.
laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
I mean, there are a lot of little things that are kind of trivial, but then sometimes I'll see something.
Because we run it through spell check and it wouldn't catch that.
Yeah, right. And then on page 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. On the 13th line, where there's the word, he's got a breeze. I think that's what you meant was breeze, not breezeway.
Yeah.
I don't know how that got there. And then on the next page, at the very top, where it's got Chris's name, you want to stick my name.
Yeah, got it.
And that is it for me.
Okay.
And I will move that the minutes be approved as corrected.
Anybody else have any comments on the meeting minutes? Okay, does anybody want to second the motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's go move on to the meeting minutes from February 1st.
These are relatively short.
Yes, they are. I have no comments. It was a quick meeting.
I move that they be accepted as written.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Let's just keep rolling. We'll move into the matter of review of a new garage, driveway, and replacement privacy fence to the Craig residence at 26573 Dundee. The floor is yours. Please just do me a favor, speak into the microphone so that we can hear you, and just always, if you come to speak, please state your name and address. That would be great. Thank you.
I'm Sean Craig. I reside at the Money Pit located at 26573 Dundee. I have lived there since August of 21. For those of you who are unaware, we moved out for all of 2022 and embarked on some extensive interior renovations. We're proud members of the Historic District of Huntington Woods and really excited to raise our family here. So for today's consideration, this is my son Saul. That's his scooter. We need a place to put his scooter. It's currently sitting on the side of the house. It's raining out. It could get rusty. Could be a safety concern. Of all the things that we accomplished last year as a family, including our new son, Tommy, the renovation of our house is high on the list of accomplishments, and we're super proud. Any of you that would like to come have a drink or a snack, you're all welcome to come take a look. And we would love to be able to have our backyard finished this summer, which is part of this whole process here, so that we can all enjoy that. So, for those of you that are unaware, the house featured a enormous swimming pool in the back that was, I don't know if it was ever built to code. I don't know if it was ever approved in any way, because it filled up so much of the yard that you could not actually safely walk around it. After a lot of consideration in terms of trying to keep it or trying to make it safe for our kids, we made the decision to fill it in. Now that it is filled in, there's a lot of backyard, and it would make sense to add a garage to it, just to make sure that the property is in good working order. So, for the look and feel of, next slide, Hank. So this is the house as it is today in the bottom left. This is kind of a material board that my wife and I put together of what we would imagine the garage will look like. We take the Secretary of the Interior's rules seriously, and I know that there's been some back and forth from the idea of we want it to look like it feels like it's part of the property, but we don't want it to look like it is a historic structure. It has to distinguish itself as something that is in fact new from the house. So with that said, I know my wife wrote the copy in the deck that we did save all of the bricks from there was a number of exterior structures on the property that we tore down, and we did save all of those bricks and clean them so that they can be reused. We reused many of them in the rebuild of the back of the house as we took off, quite frankly, a dangerous all-seasons room that the previous owner had built. So there is enough brick left that we intend to use it to build the eyebrow that's on the plans of the new garage. But we have this new selection of brick that is, while similar, is several shades darker than the original house, that we think matches nicely while also making it distinctly different than the house to, establish that it is a new structure. With that, we are looking for a more modern garage door that has the glass panels at top that further differentiates it from the house as being new. Fence, currently the fence is a standard wood privacy fence that is in a state of disrepair and falling down and covered in vines. Really more of a safety concern. We don't intend to change it significantly other than to make sure that it's new and looks nice. And then the driveway similarly has been also in a state of disrepair that it is very difficult to drive over. Well, not drive over, but get your trash cans. It needs to be redone. Do I stop or do I just keep going?
You can keep going as long as you won't want to go. If they have any questions, they'll
Yeah,
ask.
you can stop if you have questions. Okay, so next slide is the plot plan, which you all have a bigger version of. So if you, just to give you a sense of, I probably should have included the plot plan with the pool. The pool stretched all the way from the proposed patio through the proposed garage. And so now when we're looking at it, it's stamped to say that this does fit the rule of all of the structures within the backyard now cover 50% of the allotted space. That's right, Hank?
That is correct, and I just want to point out for the commission that the patio and the proposed deck are there. Those are actually there now. Those have already been taken care of and are done. This is the only thing that's left is the garage. And what I believe that Mr. Craig hasn't pointed out is that even though the whole driveway needs to be redone, he definitely needs a driveway to get back to the garage. So that'll be added on to what's there now.
Also noting, and when I was looking at the original blueprints of the house, the proposed deck, while it is now wood, it was originally brick that it served as an egress. There was one little back patio that it served as an egress, and that the patio that's there now also was an exterior egress from the house that had since been covered up by the owner that prior to us. So the spirit of all of this is to make the house functional while also restoring it to somewhat of its original intention of how it was built on the property. And we can get into that with the proposed plans and drawings. Us not having a ton of space, we're not looking to build some kind of gigantic mega garage that Bigfoot's the lot, that has, any kind of upstairs. It's basically a square that has some nice brickwork on the front and a door. 2 doors, a man door and a garage door. These were the original plans for the garage. As Hank pointed out, we don't actually have any proof that this was ever built or was on the property, but this is what the city has that was torn down at one point. So we think that it does have kind of an homage to what was originally on the property while also being different enough to establish that it is not a historic structure. And then there's Saul again standing on the back deck with a visual of where the garage would be. And thank you for your consideration. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.
Perfect, thank you. Hank, do you want to go through your
Yeah,
review?
I will indeed. This basically, just go back to the plot plan. If you take a look and you can follow my cursor, let me just get you to where you can actually see this here. So if you can see where my cursor is over here, this particular wall, and depending on how he builds it, but it's gonna have to be fire rated, which is fine, easy to do. He's putting a brick structure up anyway. This area here is what is not existing for driveway, which is what you're going to be asked to approve this evening. He is redoing the whole driveway, correct? You're doing the whole driveway. And then the material that you're showing, just for clarification, is a saw cut concrete. Is that what you're planning on using?
Yeah.
Okay. And then for the fence, that what you're looking at is you're looking at that specific type of fence to replace the dilapidated fence that's there.
Yes.
Okay, so the materials you have in the packet that he's proposed, we did not have the fencing materials before tonight, so if you have any questions, you certainly should ask him. But this is pretty basic. The zoning ordinance provides for the allowance of a garage, and there's a couple codicils for that, is that they can have one accessory structure and one garage. The garage meets the thing. Right now, what they have is no room left for an accessory structure, but they're willing to accept that to get their garage. So, for the 50% lot coverage. So this is what they're proposing, this is where they're proposing it. If you take a look at the historic district standards for this, I have included the guidelines in your packets. So for one, a property shall be used as a historic purpose or placed in a new use that requires minimal change. There's no change here, the use is the same, it's still single-family residential. And then standard 2, the character of the property shall be retained and preserved. This is for a new garage and driveway to the proposed location, as none exists on site. They're entitled to the garage per the zoning ordinance, so the driveway is academic if you pass the garage, so you've got to do both, but I need the motion for it. And the fence bears discussion only because we didn't have the materials, and now he's defined that it's going to be a wood sculpted fence. So that would be that. And then for, let me get to 3, each property shall be recognized as a physical record of its time, place, and use. Changes that create a false sense of historical development, such as adding conjectural features or architectural elements from other buildings, shall not be undertaken. Again, this garage is designed to be applicable, yet satisfy the differentiation of time and construction codicils, and the driveway is the means of egress and ingress into this garage. 4, most properties change over time. Those changes that have acquired historic significance in their own right shall be retained and preserved. This building does not yet exist. There may be a time when it does, but right now that wouldn't be something that you would consider in order to pass this. 5, again, distinctive features and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize the property shall be preserved. This doesn't apply for the drive and the garage because it isn't there yet. And again, on the 6 is deteriorated historic features, which doesn't apply because it's not there yet. Chemical and physical treatments doesn't apply as it's not being used. And 8, archaeological resources affected by a project and shall be protected and preserved. If such resources must be preserved, mitigation shall be undertaken. This really doesn't apply, and I can assure you that Mr. Craig did not find any dinosaurs when he took out the pool. New additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy historic materials that characterize the property. The new work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with the size, massing, scale, and architectural features to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment. This would be related new construction and does appear to meet the compatibility standards, but that's for you to vote on. And number 10, New additions or adjacent or related new construction shall be undertaken in a manner that if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment would be unimpaired. And again, this would comply, because if you took the garage out, it'd be just like it was with no garage. The rest of the stuff has already been approved. So other than that, Mr. Chair, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, as I'm sure Mr. Craig is. And, floor is yours again.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Why don't we just go around? Joe, we'll start with you, and we'll just go this way today.
So can you provide a little detail on what the fence material is?
The fence companies right now are suggesting a cedar material that can be painted is what they're recommending. Transparently, I know that I should have a defined material, but I think they were saying based upon availability when this is greenlit. But the idea is that it would be a replacement of whatever is currently there.
Typically, in my estimation, there'd probably be a western red cedar, and then that'll take a stain, if that's what their color scheme was with that.
That's my only comment, thanks.
I see you have some bricks, or that?
Yeah. Would you like to see them?
Yes, but are those the new ones or the old ones?
These would be the new ones.
The new ones.
So it's this brick here is a little bit darker, right, which is gonna be the differentiating thing, and then, we can control we're gonna try to control as many, darker bricks into it as we can, but as the bundle comes from the brick factory, or is it a brick factory? I don't know where bricks come from. But sure.
No, they grow on trees.
Yeah. We will use the bricks as they're provided, but yes, these are the new ones, and, you can tell from the picture on slide 3 that the house is a shade or two lighter.
That's my only question.
So, where's the fence that's being replaced?
It's on would be the north and south sides of the property. Give the cursor.
The two sides.
Okay, the two sides.
No, the-
Across the whole back too, right? Or
No, the whole back, currently the whole back side of the fence is my neighbor's property, then that's
Okay.
currently a,
So you're just taking the two and returning, the two sides and returning it to the house?
yes.
So this is from the back to the house. There's not a fence that runs down to the street that I recall.
No,
Yeah, okay. And the fence that you're replacing, the new fence is basically going to replace the old fence in terms of the height of the fence and so forth. Okay.
also sorry, to make a comment, the current fence as it is, the previous owner of the house was a nice man, and he built the fence the wrong direction because he liked the look of the fence versus he liked that side of it. So it is technically my fence, even though it appears to be both of my neighbor's fences because it's facing the wrong direction.
No, I see.
And because it's on the property. We'll see.
So, how did you decide about the garage, having a single large garage door as opposed to the two individual ones?
We have 2 kids. I drive a pickup truck, and trying to get it in and out of the garage with a smaller garage door would be challenging.
Okay. I was just curious about that, seeing that the blueprint showed that there were 2, which kind of makes a little more sense. And with regard to the brick, it's a pretty dramatic change, from the look of the house. Are you comfortable with that? It seems to me it's not really necessary. I mean, I understand what you're saying in terms of setting it off, so you don't want to make it look like it's a historic structure, but it seems to me like that's a pretty dramatic change, that you could do something that might be more subtle.
Under advice of Hank, and also just having attended these meetings, it seems like sometimes the commission goes one way or the other, where sometimes if you're too similar, then it's a problem, versus I was trying to get something that was approved. I don't particularly have a strong tie to this exact color. If we wanted to go a shade closer, or we wanted to go a shade farther away, I'm very open to that. I was really going along the lines of it, trying to make sure that it fit whatever the rules that everybody agreed upon were.
Yeah. When you said you were going to use the brick that you'd saved from the other structures, and you said it was the brow, are you talking about that like that arc?
Yes.
That's over the entrance, that's what you were thinking of, okay, with the
Yeah.
keystone, that was gonna be a little bit lighter
Yeah.
than the other brick. I see what you're thinking.
And then potentially if there was enough, that circle above it.
Right, I get it. Those are the questions that I had.
Thank you.
No questions. I think it looks great. Nice job.
Thanks.
No questions for me.
I'll just, support Jeffrey's comment that if you wanted to make the brick match closer, I would have no problem with it. The detailing is obviously different, but it's up to you. But I don't mind borrowing from some of the details. I always find that one, I know we're not trying to mimic historicism, but sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of matching.
Okay.
So,
And one other question I had is with the doors. It looks like from the little sheet that you were thinking of something that looks more like doors as opposed to what's shown on the drawing. Is that what you're thinking of? Is that Carriage George's design?
Yeah.
Okay.
But truthfully, my wife made some decisions about the garage door after the drawings had been done, and then going back to the architect to redo the drawings for just simply the door didn't feel prudent, but.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's all right. I'm guessing, I drove by your house and looked at it. I was the person with the binoculars and cameras. I probably thought it was a detective. And I'll bet that it was probably Belden Brick Company that supplied the bricks, and they're still in business. And
Yeah,
they give
these are from Belden.
Okay, it is. So they have, I'll bet you could find something that might be just a tad darker than what you have in the house, but would give you that variation and kind of set it off in the way that you would like.
Great.
So give you a little choice.
opportunity for the public to speak. Please, if you come up to the microphone, please state your name and address and provide some comments. It'd be great.
Hi, I'm Ruth Moore, and I live down the street. I'm at 26550 Dundee. And I just need to ask, are you extending the driveway? I can't tell from the plans.
Extending the driveway?
Is it going to be longer?
This will be the new section. If you take a look up at the board like we were talking, this section in here will be new.
In the back corner
This
of the
will all
house.
be replaced, but this is the only new section back here.
Okay, so it will be a bit, but you need it.
Yes, in order to get to the garage.
Okay, I would vote for the matching the brick also.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? The neighbor.
Hello. I'm still a little bit in shell shock from the last time I was here, but Dave Shore, 26398 Hendry. I'm here because one of the fence lines is, we'll be sharing. So I know the work that Sean's done and Kristen have done in the house. Everything is gorgeous and high quality, so I'm comfortable that the replacement structure will be nice, and it'll certainly be much better to look at than the falling over, ivy-strewn, collapsing fence that's there now. I'm totally supportive. I have no opinion on the garage other than he probably should have a garage. And the scooter is looking like it needs a paint job already, so I think the sooner the better.
Yeah.
Okay? Those are my only comments.
Great, thank you for participation. At this time, we'll close the public discussion. Does anybody have any comments that they want to say anything? Do we have any more questions or comments for the group? Then I'll be looking for, so we have a couple things we have to vote on, Hank. Let me just make sure I have them correct. We have to vote on the garage, the driveway, and the fence, correct? We have to
That
do
is
each one of
correct.
those individually?
You can take the garage and the driveway.
As
actually, you
one?
Take all, yeah, you should take those as one, and then you can make the fence a separate one if you want, whatever your pleasure is.
Well, I just want to make sure if I have to do each one individually, I will, or
No,
if we
you're
can,
fine with that.
we can
Just
group them
garage.
together, I'll take them all at once.
That's up to you. If you want to take them all at once, you can do that.
Okay, well, I'll ask somebody to entertain them, put forth a motion, and then we can see what we'll get.
I'll make a motion to approve plans as presented. Do you need more than that?
No, I have the plans.
Okay.
Do we have
You
a
have
second.
his-
second? Okay. Any discussion? Nope. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? No opposed, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all the detail, we appreciate it.
You're all welcome.
Can't be said
Come
enough.
by anytime you want to see the house. We would love to get to know you all better. You're all welcome at the Craig House.
I walk by all
You
the
don't need
time.
binoc-
I won't,
You don't need binoculars, you could just knock.
That just said, yeah, we don't need to knock.
Having seen it before, and
Yeah.
after, what a transformation.
it is terrific.
Mr. Chair, at this point in time, the only other thing that I have, as far as other business would be, that we do have training coming up, but it will be in May, and that'll be from MHPN. I'm not sure if it will be conducted here in person, or if it will be on a video format. So far, the video format for the other boards and commissions has been working very well. So, we may try that if that can be arranged, but May is our anticipated date for that. Other than that, I have nothing else, Mr. Chair.
I just have some procedural questions, because I missed a meeting in January. There are new members. Do we have to re-vote for chair and vice chair?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I went,
Yeah, I
Past
thought
that?
you guys did that, yeah.
I can't remember. It's, I can't always
Right,
remember.
because it was you and Jeff that were redone, and I believe that was in December.
Okay. All right, Jeff, did you have something?
I'll check, and if for some reason it didn't or it slipped
Okay,
by.
I
we'll do
wasn't
it
sure.
next meeting.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on something from our last meeting, not the last meeting, but the meeting before, Hank, which was some process for notifying people that are in the historic district that they're in the historic district. You know, we talked about
Oh, yeah.
a couple of
in the meetings.
options. One was sending letters to people, I'm not speaking into the microphone, sending letters to people, or putting a notice in the newsletter, or all of the above. Have you had any more thoughts about that?
Yeah, we're working with Franco, who happens to be out. He's unfortunately had some issues going on. And he'll be putting something in the newsletter. And he works with the rec center on that. And then also for like direct mail to the 108 Home Historic District, that'll be happening. And it'll just be an informational, but we're also trying to get, I have a meeting with Nancy Feingood, who used to be the executive director for MHPN. She actually just moved back and into Berkeley. I had a large conversation with her, and she may have some information with us on how to do some other things like grants, street signs, all kinds of really cool stuff, so we're looking at that. The other thing that I did want to let the HDC know, as long as we brought up that, is the City of Detroit has approved our marker location and donation. So now, the only thing we have to do is get it in, make a time, make a date, get the city commission involved, and go from there. And we're very excited about that. We hope to have the city of Detroit there as well, along with any other of Ben Davis's family that's still willing to come.
This is for Rackham, right?
It is
Yeah.
for the Rackham
Historic
Historic
marker.
District, yes.
Right.
Well, thank you. Again, I just want to apologize for being late. Thanks for your patience. And right now, I've got, what is it, about 8:08? Guess we can call for an adjournment. Anybody, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, all in favor, I'm going to say aye. We're all going to say aye, sure. So thank you so much. Thanks for your
Thank you.
participation from the public, too.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Stan, come on by.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out on a night like this.
Thank
Appreciate
Hank,
it.
who was very, very helpful in all the procedural stuff.